sort of professional game of rugby league. 105 minutes it lasted before the match was separated by the drop goal by Steve Roper in the 105th minute for the home side.
There you go. Scenes at Whitehaven then. Yeah. It was the League One Shield final. Hunslet defeated London Scholars 32 points to 12. And in the third week of the NRL finals, the Melbourne Storm beat the Brisbane Broncos handsomely 30 points to 0. And they were joined in the grand final by the North Queensland Cowboys, who were 29 points to 16 winners over the Sydney Roosters.
Yeah, in a game that had a bit of everything really on Saturday morning. Very exciting and entertaining game. That the scoreline makes it look kind of more one-sided. Kind of probably reflects that the Cowboys were quite a bit better, but it didn't really get that way till late on. It was an exciting game.
There you go. And we've got a Harry Jepson Cup update from Tim Griffiths, Mark.
Yeah, so Tim G, manager of the London and South East side, got in touch and he said, "Now then, chaps, all a bit of deja vu as on our second trip up to Hemel, London and the South East, a game ran out 54-10 winners over the East of England. Once again, yours truly was running the water and kicking tea, and my legs are telling me I did more running than some of our players again. Both sides have made changes from 8 days previously as East strengthened with the addition of Hemel Stags' Ollie Toms and Barry John Swindles, whilst London welcomed back Byron Crichton from illness, but lost an entire backline through injuries and withdrawals, with Morgan, Adetona, Wilson, Cook, Ed and O'Brien all unavailable. London didn't feel the need to ease themselves into the game as Crichton, Broomall, Pickers and Spur all grabbed a try in the first half. East still defended resolutely with Aspinall again the pick, this time at fullback. The second half saw 2 quick scores for Linton Allen, aka Big Red, before Pascal Baptiste, Crichton and Jamie Diggle all joined in. East then hit back with 2 tries of their own before Picker scored on the hooter to cap off a fine London performance. Byron Crichton deservedly won man of the match for being electric from dummy half and tough in defence. East were again hard opponents who gave nothing away in a physical battle throughout. Referee Ken Burns was firm and fair throughout and did well to control some potential flashpoints. As well as the players, credit needs to go to the staff. Pete Lamarquand, Shun Tamura, Kim Parkinson, Alex Fox, Vince Spur and Dan Warboys, who have all worked to put on the matches for the boys. On a personal level, it was great to be involved with the regional programme and a fresh way to get involved in the sport. 8 years of being in and around teams on game days comes to an end, and at last I've got some silverware to show for it. We'll be weird next season without working it aside."
Very good. Well, thank you, Tim, for getting in touch.
With no Oxford job. Yeah. That's a shame.
Barry John Swindles sounds like a true or false question at Shooting Stars. True or false? Barry John Swindles. Was it Jeremy Irons?
Jeremy Irons is the one I remember best of all.
There you go. That was one of my favourite ones. But cheers, Tim, for keeping in touch. And he's another stalwart of the Super League pod, isn't he?
He has been around since the early days.
Super Tim G. Right, that is the world of...
We thought he was our tallest listener until Dave Cantrell popped up alongside him.
Good Lord. Okay, that is the world of rugby league well and truly covered for this week. Let's take a look into the future now as we bring you our predictions for the semi-finals, the £1 million game, the Championship Shield final, the League One promotion final and the NRL Grand Final. Okay, we're getting very much towards the business end of the season now, Mark, with the semi-finals coming up this weekend. Starts on Thursday evening. That's not really the weekend, is it? Down at Castleford. Cass taking on St Helens at the Jungle. What do you reckon?
Well, don't forget, everyone, it's a 7:45 kickoff rather than 8 o'clock kickoff for these semi-finals. Me and the coin? No.
No, there's no coin this week, is there?
It's in my pocket.
Fuck the coin. It's been one of your best weeks is using the coin. That's like peptides is the coin. I'm not having it.
I have a question mark over both sides.
Right.
For Castleford, my question mark is intensity. We know they've been winning some games still.
Yeah.
And mixing the side up and stuff like that. But they've not defended anywhere near the same sort of intensity they did earlier in the season. They've conceded quite a lot of points along the way in these Super 8 section, and obviously there's a slight question mark over Luke Gale, what we expect him to play, and if he doesn't, I expect a Robertson-McShane combo with Milner back in a hooker to be threatening anyway. For St Helens, it's mistakes. No other team in the Super 8s phase, in those 7 games, made more errors. In fact, they made over 100 errors. They made, I think, 110, memory serves, whereas none of the other teams made more than 100 errors.
Right.
So that's coughing up chances or giving up possession. Either way, it's not good for your side. And I think they might not get away with it against a Castleford side that should be able to score some points on their home turf in front of a raucous crowd that have been entertained all year and will still continue to be. I've got 32 points to 20 in favour of Castleford. I think my concerns about them are a little bit less than my concerns against Saints. The one thing I would say is Saints' defence could be absolutely perfect, and then we don't see 5 tries that I expect from Castleford. But on the other hand, Castleford have done that bang, bang, bang so many times that's 3 tries in 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what I think will be the difference maker in this game. I think Saints are on the uptick and do look good, and they will defend very, very resolutely, I expect. But there's generally a period of time where Castleford just put the foot down and are out of sight, and it's all over by the shouting, and I think that will happen, I estimate, early in the second half in this one. 30 points to 20 I've gone for in favour of the Cass Tigers, who will appear in the grand final as a result. The following evening, 24 hours later, down at Headingley, Leeds Rhinos take on Hull FC. Both sides coming in off big away victories into this one. Is there a way for Hull FC to repeat defeat and get themselves to a grand final?
I think it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Right.
There's the 10-year thing that AK Steele pointed out, but also a lot of Hull FC players mentioned already, and I sort of feel like if that's in their heads already, is that gonna still be in their heads come kick-off time? Now I know it might not be quite the 17,000 South Stand packed calling the game for the referee kind of atmosphere.
There'll still be an atmosphere,
but there'll still be an atmosphere. I don't want to be involved in the stewarding of that Western Terrace. I'd say for certain on this one. Leeds have just been playing better. Hull FC have won some games and they've played really well, and they do have a method that works in these big games. In fact, they have a method that works in every game, which is play pretty much boring, kind of turgid rugby, rely on our really good middle unit forwards and our really good kicking game to get us a lead, and then play some rugby after the back of that. I'm sick of seeing it because it's beaten Wigan a couple of times earlier this year. But also, I kind of feel like I'd rather that this played rugby from the first whistle rather than relied on kicks until they got a lead. Leeds have played the same way all year as well as for their strategy, which is down the middle, down the middle, down the middle, down the middle, pace out of dummy half, quick play of the balls. I've seen no one really prevent them from succeeding in that strategy. And if you remember back to the semi-final, in the cup, there was a call that went Hull's way with the Albert Kelly offload for, was it Green's try? Those things have a tendency to even themselves out, blah 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 blah. Well, that might happen here. I also think there was a couple of occasions. There was a Callum Watkins break I remember in particular where Leeds left points out on the field in that game, and I don't think they'll want to be doing the same. And I also think they're playing better as things are now. They've got a better run of consistency in selection and stuff. And they've found attacking links and combos that are working around the park. So I just think the form of Leeds leans me in their direction, even though Hull are battle hardened. I'm going to go 29-18 in favour of Leeds. Right,
I think we're going to see a cagey affair to start with. I think these two teams will, whilst they've both got a bit of form, will spend the first 20-25 minutes not wanting to give up anything too much to the others, and I think that'll impact the overall scoreline. But I think Leeds are just about the better side in this one, and I think we'll see a close game. It'll be an exciting finish, I don't think Leeds will necessarily pull away in this one, and we might not see it decided until 4 or 5 minutes from time. But I reckon 16 points to 12 in favour of Leeds. Which takes us to the £1 million game on Saturday afternoon, Mark. Lee Centurions taking on the Catalan Dragons at the Lee Sports Village. Lee coming into this one for me on, admittedly against a deflated London side that had nothing left to play for, but a big result, and they've had a couple of decent running wins, whereas Catalan are pretty limp and lifeless, and I think there's going to be a raucous atmosphere down at the Lee Sports Village. It's going to be a bit of a cauldron for the Catalan players to come out in under tremendous pressure, and I think they're going to struggle. I think we're going to see a cagey affair. I think, again, teams will be conscious of not making errors, and I don't think we'll necessarily see it decided early doors. I think Lee just about win this one 10-6 for me. What do you reckon?
Greg Bird's going to be back from suspension, isn't he, for Catalan? If I was picking the Catalan side, I would be putting either Thomas Bosch for a farewell ride off into the sunset at fullback, but I'm not sure about his fitness status, or Willie Army at fullback, putting Tierney on a wing with either Thornley or Dupont as his centre. I think that solves some of the issues that we were talking about. I think having Greg Bird in there, it gives an extra creative link, which should find more space, which is good when you've got relatively slow outside backs. The more you can draw men into the middle, the better. I think there might be a bit of feist and a bit of fight in that game in the middle. I think even though the main protagonists of that sort of behaviour aren't in there for Lee, I think there's a chance of it stirring up with people like Ben Garcia and Greg Bird. There's always that chance. I think that the Catalans' front row forwards, prop forwards in particular, are better than what Lee have to offer at this stage of the season, and I think that's going to be crucial. It's going to keep the scoring down, but it's also going to give Catalan a platform to kind of quieten down that Lee crowd at some point during the game, and I think it's going to end up, in fact I'm going to change my score prediction, I'm going to go with a 20 points to 12 victory for the Catalan Dragons.
There you go. It's also the Championship Shield final this week, Mark. Toulouse take on Sheffield down in the south of France. If this was being played in the north of England, I might give Sheffield a chance in this one, but I think down in Toulouse the men of Toulouse Olympique will come out on top in this one, 24 points to 12.
If this was being played in England, I would have given Sheffield a chance of getting 24-12 against them. I think, the sending off was a big factor in their win over Batley, and they still nearly let it slip with a comeback from Batley in the end. And then the trip over, I just don't see it. Toulouse by 20, I would suggest.
Okay. League One promotion final. I've got Barrow beating Whitehaven 36-10. I think Barrow dominant, really, apart from Toronto Wolfpack. They've been the dominant side in that division, and they should have enough to get over on Whitehaven, I think.
I think, I might be wrong, but I think they've shared wins early this season against each other, but like I say, I might be wrong. I would say there's a battle-hardened Whitehaven team coming here, and that gives Whitehaven an edge for me. I think it's going to be a bumper crowd, a great atmosphere. I think it could be sort of a back and forth. I'm expecting it to be a close game. I'm going to go Whitehaven by a narrow margin of one score.
There you go.
1 to 6 points.
Okay, NRL Grand Final. Melbourne Storm, imperious all season against the North Queensland Cowboys, who kind of started slow and geared up. How do you think this one's going to go?
Yeah, well, the Cowboys had a disastrous end to the regular season. The second half of the regular season after Thurston went out, kind of, they at first overcome it and then just slumped. This turnaround in the playoffs has been almost miraculous. Any sort of, their old sort of things about the luck and stuff, I think that's all kind of swung around, and I think they'll be probably feeling quite confident. But the Storm are just a machine.
They are.
That I can't see being stopped by a plucky side riding the luck.
Yeah.